Jerry Jones said on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas that his view of the Greg Hardy sideline confrontations is the same that it was on Sunday. Jones supported Hardy, saying he was just firing the team up and that he's one of the real leaders of the team. Skip, what's your reaction to what Jerry had to say?
I don't like it. I said yesterday to you, Stephen A. Smith, I wanted, when Jerry Jones had a chance to view the video of this incident, I wanted Jerry to take a stand on this day, Tuesday, and reprimand Greg Hardy for his actions of breaking into the middle of that special teams huddle. And from what again, we're just having to go off the top of our heads here off these quotes. He didn't really even address that. He dodged the question, basically, and said he's still, I'm just paraphrasing, he's still all in on Greg Hardy, is looking to sign him long-term. He's a relatively young player, and he's part of the Cowboy future. I did not want to hear that today, because Jerry Jones is not only the owner and president of this team, he is the general manager. He manages the football part of this organization, and a strong message needed to be sent that it is completely unacceptable for Greg Hardy to break into the middle of a special teams huddle to blast the special teamers and get to the point of getting so out of control that the assistant head coach and special teams coordinator was forced to try to shove him back out of that huddle. And a confrontation ensued that included Devin Street and finally Des Bryant. Wholly unacceptable. But there is a time and a place for that kind of passion to overflow, that kind of rage to win to be channeled in the direction of special teams players who laid down on the job and allowed a 100-yard kickoff return that lost the football game. And that time and place might be over on the sideline on the bench area, where you take one at a time and you say, what are you thinking about? And where was your effort? And where's your guts and heart, young man? Because I think Greg Hardy has the potential to become a veteran leader of this team, but he has now only played 2 games for this team, and I don't think it would be out of bounds for the owner, president, general manager to put him back in his place, because, as you said, the sometimes puppet head coach is not going to do that. I believe Tony Romo did try to do that, because the Dallas Morning News reported that Romo went up to Greg Hardy during the media time in the locker room and pulled him aside and talked to him for several minutes. And I don't know exactly what he told him. I'm going to guess that he told him, watch what you say to the media. Don't dig a deeper hole. So we got the no comment, no comment, no comment. Thank you very much, media. I wanted to hear something constructive, objective from Jerry about Greg Hardy, and I didn't, and I'm disappointed in Jerry, and he's now set himself. I opened the show by saying he's the biggest, easiest target in sports, and now it will be open season on Jerry Jones all day long today. Your thoughts?
Skip Bayless, am I correct in surmising that what you're saying essentially is that you have a problem with the timing of what transpired with Greg Hardy?
Yep.
And how this is not the time
or the place
for Jerry Jones to support Greg Hardy. This is
today is not. Now that you've had a chance. Remember, when he was asked after the game, he's outside the locker room, and he said, I didn't see it.
What I'm saying to you is that in the grand scheme of things, as uncomfortable as it is for everybody to admit, what you really have a problem with is how stuff looked as opposed to what happened. And the reason why you have a problem with how stuff looked is because of a checkered past that will not be able to escape Greg Hardy. That's the reality, okay? And Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones willing to conduct business as usual and to shove this aside, as an aside, dare I say, and I'm certainly not agreeing with this, I want everybody to know this, but everybody out there, are we, and I don't mean this like intentionally, like Jerry Jones means for it to be perceived this way, because I'm sure he's not thinking about this. But are we wondering now, is there any wonder as to why issues of domestic violence and stuff were basically shoved under the rug, per se? Like it wasn't the issue that it needed to be? Because think about this. If there were no video from Ray Rice, who's to say people would react the way that they are right now about Greg Hardy? You see what I'm saying? Because if you're looking at the NFL culture, you have a 71-year-old billionaire who happens to be the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, you know, owns the billion-dollar playpen, et cetera, et cetera. And what is he doing? He's basically saying, look, man, he's relatively young, and his skill set is something that we need. You know, because he's trying to win football games. And in the immediate aftermath of Greg Hardy, I'm not going to engage in condemnation, but I will say this. I'm talking about based off of Sunday's game. I'm not going to engage in condemnation, but I will say this. Did he not look scary to you? He looked pretty damn scary to me. And when you looked at him out of control, I saw the football player. You saw the football player frustrated by the level of ineptitude and the lackadaisical effort put forth by the special teams. The critics of Greg Hardy, however, saw, oh, that's what she was talking about.
That's correct.
No, you're right.
When they were, am I lying?
No, you're right. Right or wrong.
And that's my point. So either Stephen and Jerry Jones don't know, or they know and don't care nearly as much as they do about trying to win for a change. And that's what this is right here. So what I'm saying to you is, let's understand something. What you're really appalled by based off of Sunday was the timing.
Yes, and they're about to go back out on the field.
And the timing of it has everything to do with Greg Hardy's past. If this were another player, you just would have said he's immature. But Greg Hardy,
I'd say that's out of bounds.
I'm not saying you're saying he's. No, we all know it's out of bounds. I'm saying you would attribute it to immaturity, and that player has to be disciplined. Whereas in the case of Greg Hardy, we're more vehement about it because people looked at him and said, yo, there's something unstable about that brother, right or wrong. That's what they were saying.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
All right. Look, just my personal view here. I've told you before, I would not have signed it.
Right.
Do I think that he committed heinous domestic violence? I do, even though his conviction got overturned when it went to the jury trial because she didn't show up and the police indicated she was paid off. But getting back to Cowboys signing, remember, Jerry's daughter, whom I know named Charlotte, she's a very bright woman. She's a Cowboys executive, and she made a big case at that time. This is a great opportunity for us with Greg Hardy to address this issue, keep it at the forefront, and I'm not sure that's happening just yet.
Not sure. No. In fairness to both Stephen and Jerry Jones, the resident Cowboy hater, that's just playing games, having fun. In all seriousness, I don't believe they're intentionally insensitive. I think they're focused on winning, and sometimes that blinds you to the sensitivity that you need to have towards others. I don't believe for one second that they intentionally are being insensitive.
No, but winning is paramount. Speaking of winning, NBA season kicks off tonight, and what player is under the most pressure this season? KD, CP3, we'll get into that in just a bit. Stay here.